Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. And we do have a pre-scheduled interview with the interim president of the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek. I do want to get that out there because people say, oh, you put him on now because of all that's gone on in the last week. We did have you scheduled to be on here tonight, but we're glad you're here tonight. And the timing is pretty good after the news of last week. Take us through that. How shocking was that? I know there was some information flying everywhere on Thursday and Friday. Can you clear some stuff up for us at all?
Well, thanks for having me, Greg. Always great to be here with you. As we've talked about, I'm a Husker fan. I'm lifelong Nebraskan. Grew up with Bob Devaney, Coach Osborne. So, I was just as shocked as anyone when Trev and I had some conversations about this opportunity he was considering. And, ultimately, when he informed me late Tuesday afternoon of his decision, I was just as disappointed as anyone else, and shocked is a good word. And, absorbed that for a little while, and then immediately went to work on terms of mostly just giving some assurance to our athletic program, our coaches. I reached out to as many coaches as I could, some of the key executive staff members, et cetera, that, we're going to be okay. You heard Dennis talk about it. You heard Coach Rule talk about it this morning. You heard Coach Hoiberg talk about it. Nebraska's a special place, and what I've learned in my 27 years at the university, I'm now going to go on my probably fifth or sixth president. Change is inevitable; it happens. And but what's so great about Nebraska is this is a special place, and it's the people, and it really it's more than any one person. And so I respect the heck out of Trev. He did a lot of great stuff for us. He's going to leave us in a better spot before when he came, but it's time to move on. I'm focused entirely on finding the department's next great leader, and we've had tremendous response so far. So I'm really excited about the opportunity before us.
We just had Dennis on the block before you, and I did ask him, I said, man, there's the outpouring of people that were congratulating him was pretty impressive. A lot of former players and athletes. How did you land on Dennis being named the interim?
So, I probably took an hour or so to digest the news that Trevor gave me, and then we went right to work. So, it's been a lot of long hours since Trev made that announcement. So really it just went to reaching out and talking to a lot of people inside the athletic department, outside the athletic department, in the community. And there was one name that consistently was brought up in terms of, who could bring some stability, who's had some longevity, who could just kind of be that calming presence that is needed when this kind of shocking news hits an organization or a department. And Dennis was consistently mentioned as that stabilizing force that I should consider. So Dennis and I had a couple conversations, and I knew immediately he was the right person. He just said he loves this place. Many of the answers I gave when the board approached me about being the interim president. He loves this place. He would do anything he can. He loves the athletes, the coaches, and it was a pretty simple decision at that point too. And so I was really glad that Dennis and his family were willing to step up and take on this leadership role right now, because he's been the perfect guy to manage all of this.
Visiting with Chris Kabourek, interim president for University of Nebraska here on Sports Alley. All right, let's look ahead. Now the search begins, right? Take me through what maybe the last 72 hours have done with that. I know you're also in Minneapolis with basketball. We'll have some fun talking about that here in a minute. But what can you share with us about the process? What are some of the next steps in the coming weeks?
Yeah, so we are, Husker Nation. We're working on this day and night. I got my truck on Friday and drove up Minneapolis, and we'll talk about that. But I got home about 2:30 in the morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and 6 a.m. we were back up talking with individuals that have interest in the job. So, this is going to be an easy sell because this is a special place. And I know Coach Rule just made some really great comments about it, and they're all true. And so we want to move as quickly as we can, but we're going to take our time to make sure we get somebody that is a good fit for Nebraska. But I think at this point, what I can tell your listeners is that I've just been overwhelmed by the number and the interest in people and have for this job. And it's just not because of resources. It's just because it's Nebraska. It's a national brand. People want to be affiliated. They're paying attention. Coach Rule talked about it this morning about the national relevance. So, we look right now at our winter sports programs, women's basketball, men's basketball, wrestling. You go back to the fall, women's soccer, volleyball, football, who has everything moving forward. And what we're doing this spring with softball and baseball, I could go on. And Nebraskans expect to win. And people are attracted to that and want to be part of that. So there's been no shortage of interest, despite maybe some of the speculation going on in social media and media reports. We are aligned as a leadership team. I've been talking constantly with Coach Rule, and this is a fantastic opportunity. Our fan base, our resources, and that alignment now between the president's office, the athletic director, and our coaches, that we're going to attract a high quality person to take this leadership role.
You mentioned you were in Minneapolis. I think you've made that trip twice now. In a couple of weeks, you probably know that drive really well. Your thoughts about attending both the men's and women's tournaments?
I think we talked. I'm a basketball junkie. As a referee, I just love it, and I really encourage. The Big Ten does a great job putting on the event, and if anybody has an opportunity, I just really encourage you to go do it. You're in there with all the other Big Ten schools and fan bases, and so it started, 2 weeks ago with the women and the incredible performance they put on, and the incredible fight that they had in that championship game against Iowa and Caitlin Clark in an 18,000 seat arena where maybe 1,000 were Husker fans, they all were Iowa fans. It was just an incredible game, incredible environment. And then what the men's team did on Friday night against Indiana and Casey going off and just really winning over the arena, and was just a lot of fun. So, we played 3 really good halves of basketball, and then I think, I'm not making excuses, but I didn't get home in my hotel room until after midnight on Friday night. I can't imagine by the time the team got all their post-recovery things done, and then it's a pretty quick turnaround to turn around and play that kind of afternoon game. So I think just a little fatigue, and I think I can say this, maybe a little inconsistent officiating that.
Okay.
That I not saying that caused the game, but really proud of Fred and the team and what they've done all season, and I can't wait to go watch them in Memphis here on Friday.
Big week. It's going to be a fun week, right? Women head out to Corvallis and men are down to Memphis. You'll be in Memphis.
I am going to go to Memphis, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get from Memphis to Corvallis. But
in a couple of hours, it might not be.
But I can't wait. This is, March Madness is a great time of year. The selections on Sunday were a lot of fun, a little interesting, a lot of fun though, and I'm just so happy for our student athletes that they get to have this experience, and our coaches. I think both Fred and Amy talked about this is what it's all about, and it's just going to be really fun to go watch them compete.
Parking lots were full again today. I enjoyed last week. I could park real quick. Now you got students all back after spring break, huh? Get it going for the final run here.
Yeah, I heard Dennis say we got about 9 weeks left, and hopefully everybody got a little refreshed, and we're back to class. And but it's just not our athletic department. There are just so many things going on that are so good at our university, and one of the, I think I talked about it, but I get to go talk to kids in high schools, and there's just so much enthusiasm about what we're doing at the University of Nebraska. So it's a really great time to be a Husker. So much fun.
Chris, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Anytime.
Chris Kabourek, interim president here at the University of Nebraska. Dorothy Lynch, homestyle light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. We're back to wrap up hour one next.